Hi, it's me again. So this is going to be my final reflection for my CAS activity experience, which is cross country running for the NIS varsity team. So I didn't really know how to lay this out because the sheet says an in-depth reflection that explicitly addresses the identified learning outcomes. So essentially, just all I'm going to do is going to list off the learning outcomes um, and then just give my overall thoughts on how the experience was, how I feel for the future and things like that. So there are three learning outcomes associated with this experience. The first one is strength and growth, challenge and skills, commitment and perseverance, and as I said, I'll finish off with some overall thoughts. So strength and growth. This is in terms of physical as well as mental health, but I'll just start off with the physical first. So I think I've done very well throughout this experience because um, what happened was physically, right? I managed just a few milestones as I improved my score on the beep test by two. And essentially, what a beep test is the way we did it. Well, regulation requires it to be 20 meters, but for us we did what happened was we had two cones, right? 15 meters apart, and what we had to do was we had to get to the other side, so to the other end of the 15 meters before the beep, right? And essentially what happens is the repetitions increase, right, all the way from level 1 to level 20. And then, so my score was I managed to go from 12 to 14, I believe, which is pretty good. Um, and the amount of time between beeps gets shorter and shorter. So essentially, you have more repetitions to do or more laps in shorter amounts of time, right? So I think I really did well on that. And also, I improved my 5 kilometer time by about 2 minutes and a half at race distance. So yeah, 5 kilometers. And this for me is really it really helps. It really means a lot to me because during trainings we had two trainings for the 5K, but I did like maybe three to five extra on my own in the morning, and I always noticed that I was going too slow, but because I always ended up being at 26 minutes, right? Sorry, almost 27 minutes, right? But I think that's because since I was alone in practicing by myself, and yeah, I had no one to properly compare myself to until race day when I actually saw someone racing at about a little faster than me. So what I did was I tried and I succeeded in matching their pace throughout the entire race and actually beat them, which is nice because I sprinted at the end. So I think that really the major reason for which I managed to improve my time is mainly because I had someone a bit faster than me to compare myself to and to really strive for. So this really resulted in my better overall physique, right? And it's also my mentality, right? Because I think I mentioned this in a previous reflection for cross country. It's when you do sports, your muscles lactate, and essentially, some people call it the poison of the muscle. Yeah, and essentially, what it does is it's essentially what tells your brain, like if the muscle is speaking to the brain, the muscle is saying, "Oh, I'm hurt. Like it's painful. Stop. Let me rest." Right. So, and it's really about that mental attitude and mental fortitude about not resting and keep running, even if you end up coming to like a slow jog. You never stop, and that's what I did because there were quite a few points in the race when, excuse me, sorry, there were quite a few points in the race when I really did want to stop, and I really just thought like, oh, what's the harm in walking, right? And that's the last thing you want to do. The last thing you want to do is to start walking, because then what'll happen is it will be so much harder to start running again. Because the problem is when you stop, the chances of cramps happening when you start again are quite high. So yeah, definitely my mental fortitude and resilience has definitely increased. So next is challenge and skills, right? There are really multiple, I think two main challenges that I had to face. The first one is to keep the same pace, so never stopping, right? That goes into mental fortitude and just overall physical, aptitude, and also challenging myself to keep a faster pace than usual. And that's again what I did in the race, not so much something I did in practice, right? Um, Oh, sorry. And the third challenge would be when you start the race. Essentially, it's very clumped up. Like everybody's almost stuck to each other. So the problem there is like when you start the race, you don't want to start slow and stay with the pack. You really have to almost sprint the first maybe I'd say 100 200 meters, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck weaving in and out of everybody else, and that really takes up energy. So it's definitely a challenge being able to start off with the sprint, but also continuing, right? And like sort of because that sprint really takes up a lot of energy. So a skill is definitely learning to breathe better. There's this thing my friend Tahan told me about running theory, and running theory is essentially it's the concept that when you sprint, for example, at the start, your body is really relaxed. You take long strides. You breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, or wait, in through the nose. So you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, and your mouth is so relaxed that whenever you run, you can feel your lip coming up and down. And it was pretty surprising because it did work, because it actually didn't use up a lot of my energy, right? Well, at least it didn't use up as much as I thought it would have. So that was really interesting. So it's definitely a skill I learned, learning to breathe better, not just for the sprinting, but also for the long distance itself. And also the skill to run long distances, which, because long distance running, I feel, is very underrated in terms of how much effort people think you need to put in it, because it is a lot. Like, it is not as easy as people might think. Okay, so the third learning outcome is commitment and perseverance. Again, it's not really just commitment and perseverance in the training sessions. It's outside of them as well, as far as how you eat, the training you keep up, because there are only 2 trainings a week. Like, 2 out of 7 is not a lot, right? So not only did I attend all the practice sessions, but also practice on my own for long distance running. I did things like the fartlek run, for example, FARTLEK, which is essentially you do 200 meters relatively slow, well, not slow, like at a medium pace, and then you do a 200 meters relatively fast, and then out really, really somewhat slow, and then in really fast, and then on and on and on for a certain distance or for a certain time, right? But it's also commitment and perseverance as far as my diet, how I ate, what I ate, and things like that. And I really think I stuck onto that because I'm still on a diet actually, but I finally managed to reach my milestone of under 70 kilos and I'm really proud of myself for that, because I was always stagnating at around like 72-ish kilos. So I think I've really come a long way, because, I started off at what, 79-ish, so I've really gotten there. I've really gotten there. So, and now I'm finally under 70. I'm maintaining it. I'm always committing to staying to my diet. I allow myself a snack or two, but when I say a snack, I mean like an orange or just a healthy snack, like fruits, right? Just to keep me satiated. So yeah, it's not only to how much I tried in the practices, how much I did by myself for practices, but especially what I ate, right? And finally, just my overall thoughts on the experience. BISAC was really fun. I don't think I mentioned that. Well, BISAC we did about 2 weeks ago. It was on, let me get the date. It was on Sunday the 30th. It wasn't on Sunday the 30th. It was, well, yeah, it was either the 30th or the 23rd of September, right? And it was so much fun, because finally being able to put myself in that competition and just, feeling the pressures, the heat, the being able to compare myself to someone, sprinting for their finish line like it's nobody's business, trying to beat as many people as I could. So yeah, I really loved it, and really, it truly taught me how to be healthier in what I eat. The necessary things for me to still grow since I'm an adolescent, but also to be able to function throughout the day and lose weight. It's also taught me to be more resilient and mentally fortified. So, keep pushing, even if it's, whether it's while I'm running, or whether it's, if I want to eat something I shouldn't. I always tell myself, Adam, don't eat that, you will regret it. And I'll tell you what, I know I would regret it, because I've done it so many times before, and I regretted it so many times. And I told myself that I'd never want to feel like that again. So, yeah, it's been truly a fun experience. And I guess that concludes my final reflection for cross country for NIST varsity, for the NIST varsity team. It's really been a pleasure, and bye!